All right, everyone. I hope you're doing good. Just got done some training today, and I'm the only one in the office right now, so I'm going to constantly kind of be looking this way to check and see if anybody's coming in. But what we're going to do is I'm doing a video right now just for you guys on transaction desk and how to use it and why we use it. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to do share screen, and we're going to get into transaction desk, and we're going to talk about how to use this system. Last time we did a training session, we really talked about the forms and where do you put here and what does this mean? And really, you got to read through those forms. You got to educate yourself on what those forms are meaning. But we went over a lot of them with you. And if you still have further questions, it might be best to do some one-on-one and discuss some of the forms. But also remember that when you write an offer for your buyer, at least for the first 2 years of your career, I got to check everything out. I got to look at it. I got to make sure you're doing it right. And that's what you want anyway. So we're going to work together on a lot of this coming up, but I want to at least give you the ammunition it's going to take for you to be deadly in putting your offers together and submitting them to the other brokers. So in doing so, what I'm going to do real fast here is a share screen. And we're going to jump right in working with this. And hopefully you guys are all seeing my screen here. I'll just go ahead and make this a full screen type of deal for what we're doing. Okay, so from my Matrix home screen, from the MLS home screen, the first thing we're going to do is come in and you'll see you got your tabs here. Okay, we're looking at that. But then also over here, we can go to financial tools, transaction desk, MLS home. You can absolutely access transaction desk simply from this tab here. Play around with my screen a little bit there. Okay. All right, now it's bringing up everything. So here's the deal. You can write your offer directly by going into transaction desk. And simply what you would do from this screen is go over here to create transaction. And you are going to title this Bruce offer. Okay, it can be titled whatever you want. Bruce offer 8008 Snohomish, whatever. It's a residential sale. Yes, I'm making an offer on a property. That's a sale, residential sale. Import data from Matrix or Realist. Okay, if you have a listing that you're looking at, you're going to go Matrix, and then you're going to type in that listing number, and you are the buyer broker in this case. This is all about writing offers and working with our buyers. Okay, this is not about listings, creating listings, anything like that. This is simply about buyers today and for this video. So I am the buyer broker, and then I hit create, and boom, it goes into starting the dashboard and steps to come. However, for the purposes of this particular offer, we're going to use an actual property. Okay, so I'm going to close this out real quick, and I'm going to close out transaction desk, and I am just simply going to go to my market watch here. New listings. Let's see what's going on. Let's write an offer on a cool property, huh? This one looks pretty cool. I like that property there in Edmonds. Scroll down. I like this one here in Snohomish too. Okay, that's a really nice one. This one in Linwood looks pretty cool. Which one do I want to make an offer on? There's so many good properties here today. Okay, well, let's not get too far into figuring this out here. Let's go with this one in Snohomish in the Malby area. Okay, so basically what has happened here is I have sent this to my client. They liked it. They're like, hey man, we need to go see this property as soon as possible. So what did I do? I went into showing time, which is right here, little icon. I created an appointment, and me and my client went out there to check out this property. And while we were out there, by the time it was over with, my clients were like, absolutely, yes, we are putting an offer in on this property. Now it's listed at 1.468, whatever. Okay, that's the list price. And they're telling me, we just want to offer a flat 1.5 on this house. Okay, now in our playbook, boom, there are some tips and tricks in here into writing your offer. And hopefully people are not getting too far away from these, because it's time to write the offer. When you're in the playbook, there is a page or two in here that's all about writing the offer. And remember, there's some very important steps before taking the steps into putting the offer together and writing. So in this case, I'm going to share with you what I'm going to do. So the first thing is I want to look at my supplements. Okay, and here's the supplements. I want to see what they've provided. So let me show this to you. They have provided the legal, the Ferpta, a pre-inspection agreement, meaning if I want to have a pre-inspection on the home, the agreement's on here. I have my client sign it, I sign it, we send it back to them, and then we can schedule our pre-inspection. This also lets me know that most likely they didn't do a pre-inspection on the home and spend that kind of money to make it available for everybody. So whatever. All right, so I'm gonna probably need to do a pre-inspection if my client wants to. Seller disclosure statement, the form 17 is on here, 22K is on here, septic system forms. Now, why I look at this is because if 22K is on here, or even 22E, but 22K is on it, I don't need to include that because it's already been included. All right, you'll understand what I mean in just a minute. Septic system forms, what does this mean? Have they completed the septic, or are they just showing me the as-built? Let's check this out. Give me 1 second here to bring this over and show you. All right, so this is, they've already done the septic pumping and inspection, and it's already on here, and they had it done on the 24th of January. So you guys can look through here and check this all out. What it's telling me though is because it's already done, I don't necessarily need to have another septic inspection done or requested in my offer. So I might not put a 22S septic addendum in my offer because it has already been done and performed here. So this looks good. All right, but it's time to write the offer. So here's what I'm going to do now. Instead of going to that other link for transaction desk, what you need to know is that you can write your offer strictly through the listing. And again, I haven't clicked into the listing. I'm actually looking at the multi-line report, but I want to write an offer on this home. So this icon right here is transaction desk. So I'm going to click on transaction desk, and now the magic starts and the beauty happens right here. Okay. So by clicking that little icon, it takes me right into my transaction desk, but it does one better than that. It starts filling out all the information for me. Oh, you guys are blowing up on this thing today. All right. So I've got my name here. Now that's the property address. That's not what I'm going to do. So residential sale, MLS number. All I did was rename it here. Okay. I just picked a name I'm working with right now. Add me as the buyer's broker. Yes. Now use wizard. This is always checked. And yes, you absolutely want to use the wizard. So leave it checked. If it's not checked, check it. But I'm going to create. So now I'm creating. And this starts a dashboard for this offer. Okay. And it is going to walk me through the steps, and it's very easy to do. Step 1, details of the transaction. Okay. Street number, all this is correct. Yes. Listing number is correct. Tax ID. Okay. It's all good. Transaction status open. That's what I want to do. The listing price, 1468. Okay. Buyer brokerage commission. That's my brokerage commission is 2.5% on this. But it asks for a purchase price. And this purchase price is going to be what transposes onto Form 21, the beginning of your contract. And I told you my clients wanted this at 1.5, right? So we're going to write the offer at 1.5. There we go. Okay. Now I can go save and exit, but that's just going to be too much because I'm going to have to bounce in and out of this all the time. You'll notice that it says step 1 of 5 right here. Ah, excellent. Now I want to go next. I want to go to step 2. Next. Dates. Okay, transaction date, purchase and sale agreement date. That is the day I'm writing the offer right now. If I click on it, it goes to a calendar. Hit the 15th. Offer expiration date. Okay. So let's check this out for a bit. Now let's click into the listing here and let me just show you. Do we have an offer review date? Seller will review offers on offer review date of 2/21, but they may and they can accept an offer sooner. All right. In this case, we're going to go 2/21 and we'll go with the offer review. Offer expiration date is now 2/21. Mutual acceptance date. Okay, I don't fill that in because I don't have a contract. There's no mutual acceptance. I'm simply making an offer. So I can't fill that one in. Closing date, I can fill that one in because I'm making an offer. So if they're going to look at this on the 21st and I need 30 days to close, I'm going to be looking around March 21st to close. Closing on a Monday can suck. I'm gonna go March 23rd. Okay, March 23rd. Possession date. I made the possession date the same day as closing. Okay, now if your listing needed more time, it may have it in here under possession. And if I can find it, I will show it to you. I know it's in here. It's always in here, and I always can't find it, whatever. Anyway, everybody's looking at this right now going, it's right there. Okay, I can't find my possession date, and I'm not going to sit. Oh, here we go. Jerry, I got to call you back, buddy. All right. So possession date right here is closing. They said it's okay to close on possession. Excellent. My possession date is now closing. Great. Step 2 is done. Time to go to step 3. Boom. Contact. Step 3. So it's got Ballpark in here. It's got me in here as the buyer broker. It's just got the listing broker. It's got the sellers in here, the listing firm. The only thing it doesn't have is my clients, right? So I need to add my clients. So I'm going to go ahead and add a contact. I'm going to add and create a new transaction contact. Okay. So if they're not in my system, they got to be a new contact. It's going to be a buyer. And we'll just go ahead and make this Lisa Bruce. All right, can you see what I did there? I went ahead and put their legal name. That's how they want to sign their documents. Okay. Preferred signature. This will all come over for the actual authenticine, or I'm sorry, the signature, electronic signature portion of this when we get to it. Address. Okay, it's really big here that we put in the address. Again, who needs the address? It's title, it's escrow, it's the lender. You know, they need this information to help create their file. If you do not provide it, they're going to be calling asking for it. Now, if I put Lisa's cell number here, it will not show on the contract. If I put her phone number here, it will show on the contract. And that's what I want. And then I'm going to save this. Done. And now my buyer is in here. If I needed to add the second buyer, I just do the same thing, but then I get my buyers in here. Once I've got it the way I want it, I simply go next. Okay. Now forms. Now this is the part that you're probably going to have the hardest time with it all when you get going and get started in writing offers, because now it's up to you to pick what forms you want in your offer. And you're thinking, well, I don't know what forms I need. And what I'm going to say to you is, well, we went over a lot of the forms, and I gave you each a package of forms where 95% of those forms are used in every contract that we do. Okay. It's just a matter of what other forms you might need or addendums that go along with them. Okay. So in this case, I want to look and see what I need. I know I don't need a septic addendum because they've already done it, but I'm wondering, are they on a well or do they have water? And they have water, so I don't need a well addendum in here. Okay, excellent. They do have natural gas, they are saying. Central AC, forced air, which is, yep, okay. So I'm getting a lot of this information, but I realize when it comes to addendums, there's not a lot that I really need. They do have HOA dues here, and they are monthly at $39 a month. And there is an HOA, Homeowners Association. So one thing your buyers might want to see is information on the Homeowners Association, you know, anything. It could be anything. And they have the right to do so. So I'm in this section here for forms. I'm going to go add. And now I'm going to really try to pick the forms that I absolutely need here and I need for my contract. So I'm going to go to all statewide forms right here. And now I'm going to pick what I need. So I know I need form 21. That's the nuts and bolts of what we're doing. Okay. And I also need a financing addendum because we are putting a financing addendum in here. Okay. This is as high as they can go, so they're not going to escalate their offer. Now you'll start seeing a lot of the forms that we've talked about in here. But remember, I need the forms that make sense with my offer and how I'm writing my offer, okay? 22D optional clauses. 22E Ferpta, that was part of their supplements, so they've already got it. I don't need it, okay? The home, when was the home built? This house was built in 94, so I do not need lead-based paint addendum. 22K identification of utilities, that was another form that they've already got prepared and ready for us, so I don't need that. All right, keep going. I don't need septic. They've already pumped the septic. Title contingency. Well, I'm not sure if my clients really need to see title or not. Title contingency allows the clients a certain amount of time to review the title report and back out of the contract if there's anything that they don't like on title. If they see IRS tax liens or liens of some sort and don't think that the seller can pay them off at closing, then they may not want to waste their time with this contract. Let's keep going. All right, what else do I need here for my contract? And I go down and I'm thinking, oh, inspection. Yes, I need a home inspection. Okay, and I'm not doing an escalation. And I am not waiving the inspection. But now I see that there's so many other forms on here. I'll do form 42 just for everybody to see that because we haven't talked about that one yet. It's just an agency disclosure. All right, so I've got what I want on here and I'm going to add those. So I'm adding these 5 forms, okay? Now I go next. Now, the one thing you need to know, no matter what step you're in, when you go next or save and exit or whatever, you can manipulate and go through this entire transaction at different steps along the way. Remember, I'm using the wizard and it's taking me through to create. So it's making it very easy on me. And that's why I'm using the wizard. So now I'm done here. I'm going to go next. Okay. Now, step 5, documents. You really don't need to do anything here other than recognize these are all the documents that you see right here. All these documents were on the listing and they were under supplements. Here they are. They were all supplements, but now they're coming over in step 5 as the documents. Okay. If I wanted to delete anything out of here, let's say, you know, it's like, okay, I don't need this 35P, which is a pre-inspection form. I'm actually going to have a home inspection, so I don't really need this one here. I'll just go ahead and delete that one. Great. Now I'm going to hit done. And when I hit done, now it creates my dashboard. Now it creates my transaction, but we're still not done here. Okay. The one thing we need to do is fill out our forms. Okay. So I'm simply going to go down this list here and fill these all out. And I'm going to do them in front of you right now. Okay, here we go. Agency disclosure. The undersigned represents the buyer. And this is where Lisa's signature would go. Okay. Save and exit. Next form, inspection addendum. So this is going to alert them that we're going to have a home inspection. I'm going to put a 4-day inspection down, which means that we'll have the inspection and get back to the seller with a formal response in 4 days for mutual acceptance. Okay, so here's where I put the 4 days that I want for my inspection right there. Okay. And there's nothing else on here for me. Save and exit. Come back out. Optional clauses. All right. Section 1, we generally always check. And we don't check title. So we just want the Alta A form of homeowners policy. And that's what we'll get by not checking any of this. If you check any of these, remember that you're asking the seller to pay a higher title insurance premium to provide you insurance that you may not even need. Okay. Seller cleaning. Yeah, you know what? We want the seller to make sure the house is cleaned out And this cellar cleaning means it's in broom swept condition. It does not mean that they have to hire in professional cleaners to clean everything spick and span like you might. All this means they got to just clean up their stuff a little bit, just remove all trash, debris, and rubbish. Okay. Personal property. Okay. So any personal property left shall become personal property as the buyer. Utilities. Okay. I know I have public water, but I had septic. I had natural gas. I got telephone. I got electricity. I have cable and I have internet. I saw that on the listing. They had Xfinity. Okay. So I can go here and go. There we go. Number 6, insulation for new construction. I do not new construction, do not need that. Leased property. So if there's anything leased on the property, I need to declare that here. And where would you find it? Well, there is a spot, if you go down through here, that talks about anything that might be leased. And I cannot, again, cannot find it. It is around here somewhere. But if I had anything leased, like a satellite dish or a propane tank or something like that, I need to declare that. It also is in the Form 17. That's another way to find it. I know it's on here. I'm just not, seeing it. And every single one of you are seeing it right now. But anyway, I'm going to move on from that. In this case, nothing is leased. But if there was a propane tank, a security system, a satellite dish, anything like that, then I would have to check this and then check what is leased. And then if you read here, seller shall provide buyer a copy of the lease for the selected items within 5 days of mutual acceptance. Okay, that means whatever is leased, my buyer gets a chance to review the lease. And if he doesn't like it, he can back out over it. Okay. Number 8, homeowners association review period. Yes, there is one. Okay, and I'll leave this blank so it defaults into 10 days, but within 10 days, I want as much information on the HOA as we could possibly get. Now, a lot of HOAs also have a transfer fee from buyer to seller. It's ridiculous, right? But if no one checks this, seller automatically pays for it, but it can be buyer too. If you're trying to create a more, I don't know, an offer that's more competitive, you might want to make sure that your buyer's paying for this. This transfer fee can be anywhere from $100 to $200. Okay, I'll put seller in my case. If you're going to buy your client a home warranty, this is another place where you can put it. Okay, and then you have a blank spot down here for anything that we might have to write in, such, it could be anything, window treatments that are staying with the property. It could be anything that we're writing in here, but it's a blank spot. So I'm done filling this one out. I'm going to save and exit, and I'm going to move on. Okay. So I've done the optional clauses, the inspection, the agency disclosure. I scroll down, now I'm on financing. Okay. So I do have a financing contingency with my offer. All right. I'm getting a conventional first mortgage. And Lisa's saying she's going to pay 50% down. And then right here, I'm going to make my offer a little bit better right here and say we'll have an automatic waiver, after 17 days. And then appraisal less than sales price, buyer. Okay. So this will not. So I'm not going to waive. If it comes in less than 1.5, then we have to renegotiate or do something, but I'm not going to waive my appraisal rights. All right. Loan cost provisions. We're not going to ask the seller in this case to pay any closing costs towards the buyer's loan. Competitive market right now. So we're not going to ask. If we did want the seller to pay $10,000 towards the buyer's closing costs, well, this is where we would put that. Okay. In this case, we're not asking for that. Take it back out of there. We'll move down and we are all done with this addendum. Okay, save and exit. But now we get to the most important form at all. Form 21, the main form, the one that everybody sees first, the one that has all the details on it. So let's talk about how we're going to fill this out here. This is going to be a very important, portion to pay attention to. Now, as you will see, a lot of information defaulted in here from my wizard setup, which is great. But I'm going to classify Lisa here as an unmarried person, which she'll love that. An unmarried person. Included items. Well, what is the seller declaring that stays? Dishwasher. Dryer, everything. All right. Okay, awesome. That's great. But it's not so great if you don't put it down. If you don't check these off, the seller could just take them with him on his move. Okay. If you have an attached TV and a special TV location in the room, and this TV fits perfectly, and your buyer's like, man, I don't know how I'm going to buy another TV like that. I want that TV. All right, attached television, we want that. They got speakers up in a room, and you want the speakers, and maybe they want to leave them. Okay, well, you can ask for them. You can ask for anything. They can simply say no to this stuff and counter you back if that's the case. All right, here's my purchase price. Perfect, 1.5. Got it in here, nice. Earnest money though. So you have a conversation with your client and you explain to them the earnest money, and it's a deposit on your contract. It doesn't go anywhere. It's still your money, and it'll go towards your down payment or your loan costs, and it's held at escrow. All right. And I'm going to advise you, Mr. Buyer, that, you know, in our market right now, the minimum amount of earnest money is definitely 1%. Anything more than that can really help you out. Okay, so they're like, well, let's do 2% on the earnest money then. So that's 30,000. Great, that's awesome, Mr. Buyer. Thank you for letting me do that on your offer. Would you like to wire that earnest money, or do you want it to be in the form of a check that you're going to drop off, like a cashier's check? And he's like, no, let's just handle it by wire. Great, so I'm going to check wire. But now I also know that wires can be quick, but sometimes people can't get into the bank quick enough. So instead of 2 days here, I like to do 3 days on a wire. I'll do 2 days on a check. Okay. So delivery date, 3 days after mutual acceptance, to be held by closing agent, because we never hold earnest money here at Ballpark Realty, which is buyer brokerage firm. Okay. We're not holding earnest money. The closing agent, who is our escrow company, is holding the earnest money. So boom, we check that there. But what about default? All right, so buyer defaults on the contract. So maybe it's the last week and they don't have any contingencies left, but they had a death in the family, and this is now not going to work. And in fact, they're leaving the area to move back home and be closer to family and do that. So default declares what's going to happen. So they can simply forfeit their earnest money, or seller's election of remedies, which means the seller could theoretically take them to mitigation or a court and you know, have this earnest money confiscated in a different way. Now, 95% of the offers that I see written always have forfeiture of earnest money here. Okay. Title insurance company. All right, so now you're thinking, woo, I got to use my title rep. And I'm here to tell you, no, you don't. Okay, remember, you want to deliver a nice, clean offer to your sellers, and the sellers and the listing agent have already opened up title on this property. And if you go up here and you check out, where's my broker only remarks? All right, for some reason right now, the MLS does not have the broker only remarks. So I'm going to do this a little differently. Just going to kind of start over with this property and see if I got into this a little. All right, let's go back in. Oh, there must be something wrong with Matrix right now, because usually you're going to see the broker only remarks unless I am in a different view. All right, so how do I get them? I'm going to go here. Nope, I'm already in a 360 property view. So this might be a little glitchy in the MLS right now, which is kind of a bummer. Dang it. All right. All right. So in this case, in the broker only remarks that would be down in this area right through here, it's going to tell you exactly who they've already opened title and escrow with. In this case, I'm just going to use Old Republic title. All right, so you can see right here that line 9 title insurance company, this is the title insurance company. Okay, the company that we're using, or the listing agent has already opened up title with, we just simply put it in here. They also will declare their closing agent on their listing, and the buyer does have a right to use their own, but Again, if you're going up against other offers, you want to make this appealing to everybody. So right now, everybody is using what the listing agent has already set up. So in this case, we're just stating over public title and escrow. And then here's my closer, okay? This Anna Newsom is my closer on my escrow team. She is not my rep. My title rep is Lori Kablinski for Older Public Title, but my closer of the escrow team is Anna Newsom. The closer goes here, not your title rep. You don't have to put your title rep on the contract. Why do they have another box here? Well, some of these titles that are already opened up have title order numbers. So you can put in the order number right here. And that's what this is for. I'm just going to leave it in here for now. Closing date, March 23rd. That came over from the wizard. Okay. Possession date, this did not, right? But I know that I'm going to take possession on closing. Okay. Services of the closing agent for payment of utilities requested. They've already filled out 22K, remember. Charges and assessments levied before but due after closing. I'm going to put prepaid in full by seller at closing. All right, so let's talk about that real quick. What does this mean? This is charges or assessments levied before but due after closing. And so now your buyer is saying, okay, I will assume those and I'll just keep paying them off. Or the buyer is saying, no, the seller is going to prepay all of those at closing. Those are all going to be paid off. Okay, and you're thinking, well, what the hell could this be? Well, it could be HOA dues, fees, back fees. This could be King County sewer capacity charge, right? On all the properties that are in newer construction, especially the ones built within 10 years. You want to check and make sure if there's a sewer capacity charge still on that, that it's being paid off of here. I always check this box, okay? And it just doesn't allow for as many mistakes. As a listing agent, I have to be more cognitive of this box and make sure that when I'm listing a property that might have a sewer capacity charge on it because of age, that it doesn't. Or if it does, I need to know what that is and I need to educate my clients. In this case, we're working with the buyer. So in working with a buyer, I'm going to put prepaid in full by seller at closing. Seller citizenship. The seller is or is not a foreign person for U.S. income taxation. The buyer is represented by the buyer broker, me. The seller is represented by the listing broker. Excellent. Okay. Now look down here. All that information for Lisa filled in properly. Great. So now all the parties can use this information and all my information had come in properly. So doing good. The last thing we need to do here on this form though is put in the addendas. So what are the addendas? The addendas are every other form you're going to be using in this contract, right? So I did a 22A. I did a 22D. I did a 22K. Now I didn't personally do that, but they did, and it's going to be included in my offer. So boom, it needs to go there. All right, 22K. I didn't need lead-based paint. So let's keep looking at what I need. I don't need a well or septic. I didn't need that. You'll notice that there's county specific forms in here, a Skagit septic, a King County, or Pierce County septic. All right, let's keep going here. What do I need? 35 inspection. Yes. Okay. We did that one. We also did form 42. But that is not a form. Sorry, that is not a form that we need to put in here. Okay. We also did 22E, which is Ferpta. Now, you don't have to put that on here, but if you did, you'd have to type it in like this because it's not part of the dropdown, just like form 42. So I'd go like this, form 42 right there. Okay. No big deal. This is how you can put it in. You don't necessarily have to put it in though. What I'm saying is that these two forms right here, the reason why they're not in these drop downs is because you don't have to declare them necessarily on your addendas. I like to do it. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people think there's only one right way to do things, and unfortunately that's just not the case, as we all know. Okay, so this is all I got to fill out and I'm done there. I'm going to save and close this. All right, so now I filled out all of my forms and I've got them all ready. Over here, I've got all these forms ready to go. They were done for me, okay? So now it's time to create my signing, okay? I want to create my signing for my client. I've got everything I need here. So what I'm going to do is go over here to signings. Now I'm in the signings tab, okay? And I'm going to hit add. I'm going to add a signing and send to new authentisign. This is going to be Lisa Bruce Snohomish. And I'm going to hit save. And now it's creating my signing. So I've created all my forms, and now it's time to create the signing. And check this out. Man, I hope this is recording all and recording perfectly. Okay, so the first thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down this list. Signers, so add participants. Okay, so I need to add from the transaction. And here's everybody set up, and I need Lisa. There's nothing in here that I have to sign. I take that back, there is. So I'm going to include myself. Hit select. Done. All right, next thing, documents. Add documents or form. All right, so now here's all the documents that are associated in this dashboard. All right, so what do I need? I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. All right, keep going down. Legal, do I need legal? Hell yes, I need legal. Do I need the Ferpta? Yes. Do I need the whole preliminary title report? No. You do not need to include the whole title report in your offer. That right there is simply for you to send to your client before you even wrote the offer to review the title report, okay? So I don't want to include that with my offer. Do I want Form 17? Yeah. Do I want utilities? Yes. Septic inspection? I'm going to do it this time to show you one way to do it and acknowledge, have your buyer acknowledge, okay? But the septic's already been done. If it wasn't done, I would need a 22S septic addendum. And then there's instructions, obviously, for the seller and the buyer. But in this case, they had already done it ahead of time, and the septic has been done. So most brokers and listing agents are not going to want you to include this in. But you can always, include it in and have your clients initial it. And that way you're acknowledging why you don't have a septic addendum in there. Excuse me. Okay, so I've got everything I wanted. I'll add that for now. I'm going to close this out. Okay, now it's asking me set signing layout mappings, and it really just wants the buyer or seller or whatever. Lisa's my only buyer in this case, so it's mapped perfectly. Assign signature blocks. And boom, here's what's going to happen. So now I did my documents. So I'm going to go to tools, and you see up here the signer. You have to make sure you're on your signer. Okay, so if I needed to set a signature for myself or Lisa, and I'll show you how that works here, because we're going to have to do a little work to this, and I'll show you why. Now, every form that we filled out that we selected to bring over is automatically going to have signature and initial blocks on it for my buyer. So I can scroll. I've already filled this stuff out, so I know it's good, but I'm scrolling down. Form 42. All right. So this needs a signature on it from me and my buyer. So I'm going to start with my buyer, and you can sign or initial. There's check boxes, a text line. I'm going to show you how all this stuff works out. But sign here. So what I did is I clicked on it and I drug it over here, and I can move my date over here. Great, but I need to sign it too. So I have to go up here and go Dustin, drag and drop. Right there. You can even move it around and get all fancy. You can do whatever you want, but now that's done. All right, so moving on. Inspection addendum. All right, the initials are in there. Initials are here. Optional clauses. Looking good. All my initials are on there. I'm liking things. Things are going good. Wait a minute. Here's my legal description. Now, anything that was brought over from what the listing agent had already prepared and uploaded into the system and supplements, we're going to have to do some work to that. And I'll show you what it is. And the first one here is legal. So I'm going to go to, sorry, I just had to check. I'm going to go to Lisa and grab her initials, drag and drop them down here. And I got my date on there. Okay. Here's page 2. All right. Ferpta, there's nowhere for a buyer to sign here. It's simply a seller designation. You do not sign down here. Okay. You would only sign down here if your seller is a resident alien, meaning like a Canadian citizen, but he has property in the United States. All right, so moving on. Form 17, okay, let's see what the seller disclosed. Okay, you can read through all this, but really what the buyers are looking for, I'm sorry, what the sellers are looking for is a signature on the last page. All right. So by signing the first section of Form 17 states that your client, your buyer hereby acknowledges that they've received a copy of the Form 17, and that's it. Now, if you also have them sign the second section, this states that your buyer is not going to revoke their offer based on any information that your seller has provided in the Form 17. Now, that doesn't waive their rights on the inspection or anything else in the contract, simply this seller disclosure statement. Okay, it simply states that they are not going to revoke their offer based on anything in the seller disclosure statement. Okay, and now we move on. So here's what I wanted to show you. This is another form that was uploaded into the supplements, the identification of utilities. Okay, now you also notice that because of that, this was not filled out on top, and I need to fill that out. So I'm going to come here under markup, and I'm going to hit text box and click on it, and I'm going to go here, click on text where I need it, double click into it. Today's date is February 15th, 2022. I need to add my buyer. So I go back and I hit another text box. Now I notice I need more room here. I extend it out. I can move it around, double click in it or click into it. And you get Lisa R. Bruce that I'm typing in. So now I filled out the top of this form. Hey, I'm not done yet. I need initials on here, right? Boom. Now the form's done. I added date. I added my buyer, added the initial, done. Now I can move on. Here's the septic, right? So again, this is not required to be in there, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have my buyer initial it. And I'm going to have them initial it just stating that, you know, we are acknowledging that you've already had the septic done and we're good with it. Okay, and that's it. No more forms for me to fill out, no more forms for me to do. I'm at the end here. So the last thing I want to do now is send this off to my client. So up here, I'm going to hit next. Okay, and I got two options here, really, two options that I want to talk about with you. One is create customized invites. The second one is just simply send. If I hit send from here, boom, this goes off to Lisa and it's all done. However, maybe I want to give her a little bit of instruction. So I'm going to go customize invites. And now it takes me to a screen where I can simply send a message to Lisa. Hi, Lisa. This is the offer on the property in Snohomish. Please take a look as you are signing and let me know if you have any questions. Once you sign, you should also receive a final copy for your records. Don't hesitate to contact me with any questions. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to send a message out, you know, and that's what I'm looking to do with this one. So I'll hit save, and then I'll hit send. And now it tells me the invitations have been fully sent out to my client. So now Lisa's going to get this on her end. She's going to open it up and it's going to walk her through the signing. So one thing I suggest to you is if you're doing this with your spouse or significant other or a friend or anybody, okay, do up the signing and send it off to them and then look on their end and see what they see on their end. Make sure you understand what you see on the buyer's end. Okay, look at their email and see how it comes across, you know, and how they get into the system and how they hit start and go through the signing and clickety click, 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 and done. Okay, you get 2 emails, one saying that your client has initiated the signing process, and the second email is completed. Okay, this is completed. Click here for a final PDF copy. Okay, you would then download that copy into your client file on your computer, wherever you may keep your client files. And then along with the pre-approval letter and that offer, you will send that off to the listing agent, but making sure that you call before or after to explain to the listing agent what it is that your offer entails. Again, if you check out your playbook about writing the offer, it does give you some helpful tips about, you know, contacting the listing agent beforehand and trying to get a little bit of information to help out with writing a nice offer. You know, sometimes the listing agents are willing to give you some information, but maybe not all of it, but maybe some information is going to help direct you and your client, you know, in your offer. You know, maybe they tell you, like, maybe this was listed at 1.46, right? And they say, listen, we're already at 1.65. So I just want to give you that information. If that helps you out, you know, please continue to write. Okay. But now you go to your client and you're like, listen, I just found out that they currently already have 1.65 million. What do you think? Do you think you would go up that high or go higher? And maybe your client says to you, no, actually, we're only approved at 1.5. We are going the highest we can go. So we're not going to be able to go for this property. Okay. Now you don't have to write this offer. You've saved yourself some time. You saved your client some time because you got the information ahead of time. Okay. That's what a professional agent would do. Communicate with the other agent. Okay. Communication is key. Let the agent know that you're easy to text with or call or just have a nice conversation on the phone and just be cool about it. Okay. If you call and you're abrupt or you're, you know, just acting like a jerk, they're going to remember that, especially when it comes time for offer review. And now they're sitting at the table and they got these, you know, out of 8 offers, there's 2 here and yours is one of them. There's 2 here that you really like and God, they're about the same. And your client's like, well, what do you think? And as the listing agent sits there and goes, you know, this offer here, I had great conversations with this agent. They were very attentive. We spoke together very nicely on the phone and it was great. This offer here, this guy's a complete jerk. Okay, he treated me with disrespect on the phone. He was just being a dick. And, you know, if you're asking me between the 2 offers and they're the same, I'm going here. And the clients are going to look at that agent and be like, I like your stuff. Okay, so have a good relationship with agents on the phone. Again, this is a rough one-time example of transaction desk, but it'll kind of get you going. Okay, because remember, on Thursday, absolutely for sure on Thursday, we're going to do another live example of this in-house for training. And then afterwards, you're all getting your live example. Okay. And this is a scenario where you're going to have to write an offer for clients on a certain property. And you're going to have to send that offer to me within 24 hours of me giving you the assignment, which means you can't sit on it for days and try to figure it out. No, boom, boom, boom. You got to get it going. And you can't be afraid to fail because that's what we're here for. You're going to send me these offers. We're going to take a look at them. And we're going to correct your mistakes. And if you think you're going to do it perfectly, think again. You probably won't. There's going to be something, okay? But that's what we're here for. We're going to find out what you're struggling with or what your mistakes are on. We're going to fix them. We're going to correct them. And then we're going to do another story problem. It's going to be even harder because we're going to pick a property that has more forms with it than maybe just your standard neighborhood residential property. So I hope this helps you guys out. You can always refer back to it in the recording, and hopefully this recorded well. I'll have to check it out when we're done here before I send it to you. But you guys have a great one. I look forward to seeing you Thursday. This is Transaction Desk. This is a sweet system for you to use, and just have some fun with it. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.